Rejection. Everybody's been rejected in their life, some people more than others. I know that when I was a kid and I first started dating, I was constantly being rejected. If you've been doing technical sales, then you've dealt with that rejection, and it's the worst thing ever. It takes the wind out of your sails if you look at it like that. What you have to think about is that in sales, everything's about timing, and it may not be the right time right now for that person, or they may have picked up the competition and said that they're going to be their supplier, or they went with a different system, or that project's dead and you were waiting on to hear if that project was going to come through, and you're really hoping and waiting and telling your boss that this is going to be your big thing, and you're already counting your chickens before they're hatched. And then it turns out that you did not get the deal. That is part of sales. You have to go into it knowing that this can happen. And what's gonna happen once you are rejected? The people that deal with rejection the worst and it hits them the hardest are the people that are not busy enough. If you have 100 people and 100 deals in your pipeline, 2 of them fall off and they're big deals, or 30 people say no, but you've got 70 others, it's not that big of a deal. The more that you get into your pipeline and more that you have it full, you're gonna care less about the rejection. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't critique why were you rejected. Was it something that you did? Was it something your company didn't offer? Was it not a right fit? Was it not the right time? You always have to look at that and try and learn from those mistakes that you possibly made, or learn what is it that you could have done differently to not be rejected by that potential customer. But it's just a way of life. Sales is a numbers game. It's all about percentages. And whether you close high or you have a low close percentage, it's all about how many people are in your pipeline. That is why the pipeline is the most important thing to protect and funnel and feed. Things are gonna fall off, things are gonna happen, projects are gonna get pushed, governments are gonna shut down, industries are gonna close, the economy is gonna collapse. You never know what it's gonna hit. You never know what's gonna happen. So if you keep on doing the foundational work of prospecting and bringing new people into it, then if 20 people say, no, we're not gonna do it right now, it's not that big of a deal. But if you look back at those people that are crying about it and that take it personal, then that's because they don't have enough in the pipeline to begin with. Whenever I was in sales, I always tried to make sure that my pipeline was full. And for every large deal I had 5 others like it. Or I had 20 small deals that could equate to that large deal. You have to deal with rejection head on. It's gonna happen. It's just part of nature. You're gonna be rejected. So suck it up. Stop acting like the world is gonna end because you were told no. If you haven't dealt with a lot of rejection in your life, then yes, you might have an issue with this. And it's gonna take a little bit to get used to. I'm not saying the first time I went out and sold and had somebody slam their door in my face and say, nope, phone call's not being answered. People telling me no over the phone, I don't wanna hear it. As soon as you start going into that pitch, people are telling you, nope, I'm not looking to be sold. That was difficult to deal with. But once you get into that repetitive nature, you know that it's just part of sales. But how you come out of that is going to be most important. If you are having a bad day and you dealt with a bunch of rejections, then go to something that can give you one positive thing. Or if you need to look at it differently. Somebody rejecting you or somebody rejecting your company, it could just be some aspect of what you could have done better or different to get them to say yes. Now, once you get rejected, how you handle it is so important. The first thing you should do is say something like, I appreciate you letting me know. I'm sorry to hear that we didn't get picked for that. I'm sorry to hear that didn't come through. Is there anything that I could have done differently to make it more favorable to my company? That's question one. You got to understand. They may say, no, you guys were great. Well, there's something. There has to be some reason. And once you get enough of those reasons and you get enough people that give you that feedback, then you can start to look at, is there a trend? It could be your location. It could be your price. It could be your service. It could be something that you don't offer. It could be that the other person just followed up faster. And going back to the fundamentals, it could be that person was just responding quicker, or, oh, I didn't get that from you in time. Or they may say, well, we like this person for this reason. Your response may in your head be, well, we do that too. Well, maybe they didn't know it. Maybe you didn't know that it was important to them. Maybe you forgot to ask those fact-finding questions in the beginning that you would then have learned that was important to them and then delivered a solution to that. So you always want to try and get feedback. There's always a moment to learn from every win and every loss. And especially on the losses, that is your opportunity to be like, take it on the chin and just say, you know what? You have to do it with a smile. You got to have that good attitude. So say, look, I appreciate you letting me know that. Is there anything that I could have done differently that would have made this outcome in my favor? Or is there something that the other competition offered that we didn't? Because I'm always trying to improve as a salesperson, and my boss keeps asking me about new technology or things that we should invest in. So I just want to be able to provide them with some feedback to why we weren't chosen. Those are questions that anybody in any purchasing area, whether they're operations, sales, engineering, IT, it doesn't matter what they're in, they will respect that you're asking that. Now, if you come at them with a bad attitude and take it personal and say, what do you mean? Why did you go with the other guys? Oh, well, they had this. Well, I just heard that and you start talking smack about them, they're not gonna respect you as a person. But if you come to it with your hands open saying, hey, look, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity and I appreciate you letting me know that you went with the other person. Is there something I could have done differently? I'm trying to get feedback to give to my bosses, or is there a service or capability that they have that we don't that really made it over the edge to tip into their favor? It's all about how you respond to the situation. Whether it's in person, on the phone, you have to do it with a positive attitude. You have to try and learn from those opportunities of how you can be better.